Good morning, everyone. We have in week 3 from lesson 2, the Renaissance period in 1450 to 1600. In Renaissance is a French word meaning rebirth, which occurred between 1450 to 1600s. These are the characteristics of Renaissance music: by clarity, balance, and euphony within regulated limits. Second is a cappella. When you sing in a cappella, which means music sung without accompaniment, is an ideal medium, especially in church. From the vocal polyphony, the textures of Renaissance music was vocal, with 4 or more voices of equal importance in high degree of perfection. From the word painting, that the Renaissance composers used word painting, a musical representation of specific poetic image. Example, running. It's heard with a series of rapid notes. And the 5, the music sounds mild and relaxed. In the rhythm of the Renaissance music is a very gentle when we heard the sounds. In music printing by Johannes Gutenberg started the production of printed Bible in music book. The music printing was different and difficult. With more musical books printed, the dissemination of music to wider geographical area and a broader social span was faster and easier. In Protestant music, the 16th century was marked by upheaval in the Christian world. The Protestant Revolution begun by Martin Luther had deep and lasting effects. Luther loved music and believed in its ability to serve religion, and he encouraged the use of polyphony in church service. In Catholic Transformation, in 1536, Pope Paul III called for the Ecumenical Council, the Council of Trent, to discuss some reforms for the Catholic Church. The Madrigal is a setting for the several voices, usually for 4 to 6, of several appointed texts. The Madrigal was the most progressive form of composition during the late 16th century and was sung in all the country gathering. From the Renaissance polyphony, it is a style of music characterized by the equal participation of voices. Among the finest examples of polyphony are the masses and motets. A setting of the Latin Mass was the most important work in the Renaissance. A Mass is a musical setting or text that are common in celebration of the Mass. Example, Gloria, Kyrie, Creed, Sanctus, and Agnus Dei. It is a relatively small-scale sacred text performed in polyphonic vocal setting during the Mass of a particular day. These are some of great musicians of Renaissance period are: number 1, we have Agricola Alexander, Animosia Giovanni, Paul Jan, Bird William, Campion Thomas, Talis Thomas, Gabriel Giovanni, Gibbons Orlando, Henry VII, 8, De La Sos Orlande, Morley Thomas, and Skin Desprez. From the great musician, we have Agricola Alexander, a Franco-Flemish who was composed of masses, motets, chanson, and instrumental arrangement. Animosha Giovanni, who was an Italian composer and was the one of earlier composer of the music of Catholic Reformation. Paul Jan is an English composer and keyboard player. Bird Williams, an English composer. His first book of Cantonese Sacri in 1589 to 91 was dedicated to Queen Elizabeth I. He was called the father of music and was granted exclusive right together with the Thalys by the Queen Elizabeth I. Campion Thomas, an English composer, and also published 4 books of love song. Gabriele Giovanni, an Italian composer who wrote a collection of motets and madrigals for the various combinations of voices and instruments for the mass sonatas, lively instrumental canzones, and 4 choir instruments. Gibbons Orlando, who was an English composer, keyboard player, and was the one of the founders of the English keyboard school of the early 17th century, along with the Bird, Barnaby, and Ball. Henry VIII, who was the King of England and an avid amateur performer and composer as well. De La Sos Orlande, a Franco-Flemish composer, all genres of vocal music, and composed masses and motets over the 100 Magnificat and Sitting of All Passions. Morley Thomas, an English composer and a theorist. He was the most important composer in both the developing English of Elizabethan Madrigal from its Italian counterpart. Thalys Thomas, who was considered one of the greatest English composers. Thalys composed Latin masses and motets with also English anthems like in the title If He Loved Me. And the last was Skin Desprez, Franco-Flemish composer. Among the composition of the Skin Desprez as 18 masses, 112 motets, and 70 chansons. He composed the famous Pro Maria Virgo Serena, or Hail Mary Happy Virgin, and the double motive Pater Noster in Ave Maria. So these are the great musicians of Renaissance period. Women and music. It was difficult for women who worked a professional musician. During the Renaissance were taught how to sing and play particular instrument, the name of suitable for such as the harp, lute, and keyboard. Among the musically talented women of 16th century was the Policita Peccori, who sang the accompanied herself in the lute and ill-fated English Queen of Anne Boleyn. The Renaissance instruments. We have the viol or violin, 2 lute, arc lute, and theorbo, 3 citern, viola, and guitar, 4 recorder and saxophone, 5 harpsichord. In viol and violin, the viol was an early version of violin which produced different sound. The violin has 4 strings and play with a bow and associated with the dance. A lute, arc lute, and theorbo, the Renaissance lute had a flat and rounded back. The six-course lute was popular in 16th century. It was frequently used by fantasists. Citern, viola, and guitar. The citern was a flat instrument played like the citol. The viola was considered as a musical instrument of elite. The guitar traced its origin to the Greek kikchara. The renaissance of guitar was smaller and quicker than the modern instrument. It was prepared for the polyphonic music. In the recorder in samples, the recorder was played by the blowing directly into the beck from the mouthpiece. Recorder were different size with different range and sound qualities. It was a concert instrument to be played in a group. The sangboth is considered as the ancestors of the modern trombone. The sangboth produces a sweeter and sweeter sounds than trombone. It is used to accompany the choir. Number 5 is the harpsichord or clavichord. It was the most famous keyboard instrument of the Renaissance. Before it was gradually displaced by the piano, the smaller versions of the spinet and the virginal. The clavichord was similar to the piano, but it is a quieter instrument and suitable for the home use for practice and private performance. A special notation known as a tablature was used for the lute music. It consists of letters of the number placed by the sixth horizontal, corresponding to our script or the lute. The letter of the number indicates the breadth of the finger portion of each note and indicated above the tablature. In listening guide, music is appreciated when it gives a meaningful and desirable feelings to the listener and when the emotional and intellectual components are understood. The proper combination and organizations of different elements in a piece of music by a composer will determine whether it will be appreciated by the listener or not. And these are the elements that will to guide you. The one is the tune, and the second one is melody. A tune, that tune has 4 characteristics. We have the pitch, the higher or lower tone, intensity, louder or softer sound, duration, longer or shorter time. From the melody, music when heard alone has monophonic effect. When accompanied by the set of chords, it is an homophonic. When 2 or more independent melodies are heard together, it is called counterpoint. Melody can be a narrow or a pitch range or maybe wide-ranging and larger range in pitch. With the connection and connected by the tune, the tonal arrangement. This involves arrangement of the tones from the lowest to highest or the slowest to the fastest. In the harmony, this the effects tones of heard combination. Example, on the chord containing 3 tones is called a triad. G, E, or to G from the chord. That's all for today's lesson. In your activity 1 and 2, in your module, please answer the following directions. For more updates, please monitor our e-class online learning system. Thank you and goodbye.